Look at me, Ma. I'm finally someone else.
On your knees!
This is lovely, isn't it?
Hey!
What are you doing?
All right, let's get started. So I am here with, I hope I can pronounce this right, Shivaan Makker. Is that how you
Yeah,
pronounce it?
close enough. Shivaan, same shit, same thing.
And we're talking about the new movie called Hate Thyself. I gotta tell you, Shivaan, this was a great movie. I absolutely enjoyed it because I like that how it meshed a story of redemption with the serial killer thriller. So I really enjoyed that. And plus the fact that Tony Todd is in this movie really helped that movie as well. So great job on this.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was great working with Tony Todd. Yeah, I have some stories there too, but yeah, there was some interesting interactions, definitely. He couldn't make it to the whole movie, so we had to rewrite it as it was going because he was sick during the process. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm glad you liked it, the redemption arc with the serial killer thing. I hope it wasn't too dark. I know it's pretty dark, but
There were a few scenes, but I didn't mind it so much because we're now getting to that trend where the true crime stuff is really becoming big. You know, everyone's starting to get into the true crime, whether it's a podcast or it's a movie about a real life serial killer. You know, as this one's based on Robert Erdella, and of course, he's called Ed Erdella, and I have a feeling I think I know where that could have possibly came from.
yeah.
There were shades of it as well. I was thinking of Ed Kemper, which they did a movie about a guy I know, Chad Farron. He did a movie about Ed Kemper last year, and I felt like this guy Ed combined the two. Like he had showings of the two serial killers meshed in one package.
Yeah, so I kind of got the inspiration from Silence of the Lambs because Silence of the Lambs, they mix actually Ed Kemper, Gary Heidnick, Ed Gein, and the last one I can name you. Um Ed Camper, Gary Heidnick, Ed Gein, and Ted Bundy. That
Yeah.
was it. Yeah, because how he, lures the victims and uses the cast. That's something Ted Bundy did. So I kind of did the same thing with this film. I based it on Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy, Ed Kemper, Ed Gein, and Robert Berdella. But
Mhm.
yeah, I kind of took the scariest bits and just kind of meshed them together, as you were saying.
So what inspired you to take on this project in terms of like what made you want to direct this one? Like how what came up with that?
I think the calling was there hadn't been a good serial killer movie that really captured the evilness, and like a lot of it was starting to glamorize a lot of them, and I think that's the dangerous part about showing serial killers in a mass medium. Like you don't want to show them as good people, you want to show them as how truly evil they are, because that's what they are. I mean, the theme in this is too, it's basically battling, why do evil things exist if God exists? So it's like that duality. But it's like you can't have good without the bad, and we are given free will, which is that's the message of the movie. And yeah, so I wanted to do something spiritual in that way and also conveyed in a darker story so it makes sense and also scare people.
Yeah, you mentioned that about Angelo, his character, he went through a traumatic event where he feels like he lost all faith and then his actions start to affect him as a person. We see him
Yeah.
eventually, he's messing up his marriage. He's not focused on the job as he used to because of this traumatic event. And that's where we see Tony Todd play his boss. And, him and his partner, Rufus, they're trying to get him, you can do better than this. And they're trying to like help him, motivate him, but he just feels like he's down and out. He feels like in a way, I felt like he was betrayed by God for what happened, for this traumatic
Yeah.
event. And I gotta say, Oscar Torre did a great job in the role of Angelo. I mean, he did such a great job playing this guy who just like he feels like he's not like everyone, like he's been betrayed and he doesn't know how he can find himself through redemption. But then the opportunity comes where Ed's crimes might give him that shot, that booster shot that he's gonna need. And I guess I gotta ask, what was it like working with Oscar since he just did such a phenomenal job on this as this character?
Um, it was pretty awesome. He was really interested in the role too. So that's always a great thing, having an actor interested. Yeah, the thing is he pretty much got into a dark state of mind because the film called for it. And you kind of realize as you're directing this type of film that okay, there's reality and then there's fiction and then there's blurring the two. And you got to be really careful because you get situations like Heath Ledger and stuff, and you don't want to deal with that. And
Yeah.
Oscar and Gary, the serial killer, they really went into the darker depths of reality to kind of carry out these roles, and they deal with a lot of heavy themes like suicide and rejection and lack of faith, like it's such heavy things that weigh on you. So yeah, acting, you got to really feel it. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And I
I'm
also
glad
yeah,
it
and I feel like yeah, and I feel like in a way you got Ed as the demon and Angelo is like the fallen angel because he feel I felt like it was also that little dynamic because you always have this
yeah,
like, religion thing of angels and demons and it's like Angelo is the fallen angel who needs to go on that path of redemption to stop the demon, in this case, Ed. And I think that's what really worked well. And as you mentioned, both characters are really, they're going through a traumatic thing. I mean, we see Ed get berated by his mother just for being gay, and I gotta say, I really love seeing Eileen Dietz play his mother because every time I feel like she's making a huge comeback in the indie film world. You're seeing, she's popping up
yeah,
in all these indie genre flicks lately, and every time she comes on the screen, she brings that presence that I feel like it's getting better than what she played in The Exorcist when she played Pazuzu the demon herself,
yeah,
and here
yeah.
she is now playing the opposite, berating him, and calling just him, just and that helps, like that becomes like the trigger for him to do what he does.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of it, like the film Hate Thyself, is basically called because both the characters hate themselves for what they are, and that's the redemption for the whole story arc is, one's negative and one's positive.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So I gotta ask, you mentioned working with Tony Todd, and I know that, at this time he was getting, he was really sick, and we also saw him with Final Destination Bloodlines, one of his final films. And he just, no matter what role he had done, he made such an impact, no matter how small the role would have been, like Lean on Me. He just played Morgan Freeman's like right hand man. He only appeared in a few scenes, but he had this presence that like amplifies the film, and he does it here too. And I ask, what's the experience like working with this guy, a
it
legend?
was definitely different than working with other actors for sure. He definitely dwelled into the role. Well, I gotta tell you, all the other actors have their own way of delving into their role. Tony Todd, he definitely had his specific way because he had his on-screen presence, and you can definitely see his like eye-defining features and whatnot. But there is one part when he finds out that his son's missing and sorry, spoilers ad.
That's
Not that
okay.
was a spoiler, that was a spoiler. But he really got into the role and started crying and really like was really into it. And I told him to kind of dial it back, and I think that made him a little more upset. So he cried a little more because he thought we kind of had not an argument, but it was just like, oh, if I had a son, I think I'd really do it this way. But
Yeah.
it just wasn't carrying out as well because he had to look a little professional in front of his cops and stuff. Because the thing is, his character was named after Marcus Aurelius, and
Mhm.
Marcus Aurelius is like the Stoic philosopher. So it's like I wanted to convey that through Tony Todd, and not have like have like a fragile person that would be actually a dad in the situation, because I needed a general. I needed a to lead his men to catch this vicious guy who's hunting people and whatnot. So yeah, we had a little situation there, but it carried off well. Like the only argument was I think I'd be more crying like that, but I tried telling him, you're a general to these men. They look up to you. You can't show a sign of weakness, you know?
Yeah.
But that was the only hiccup. I wouldn't even say hiccup, but that was like the only like like part times we collided. But other than that, it was awesome working with him. He was very, very talented. Knew what he was doing. Um, very thunderous voice. Yeah,
Yeah, he was a total legend. And I know everyone who's been a fan of his, no matter what movie he's in, I know we all still miss him, and it's great that we'll get to see him in this movie as well. And and yeah, I noticed it too. And but and also a way, he's the general, but he's also like a human. Like that's what I felt the presence. Like he's also like a human. He's a dad. So I understand.
yeah,
Well, yeah, if you lost a family member like that, you're gonna go ballistic at some point.
yeah.
And you gotta be strong. But I'm pretty sure there was probably some of the cops out there going, who could feel like he's feeling, who could have felt what he's feeling like if they were in that situation as well.
Yeah, and that's why we had Angelo go through the stuff. We had Rufus, and but I needed a more stronger presence for Tony Todd, because he was a role model.
Yeah. So I gotta say, some of the special effects in this movie were great. I mean, one thing what really got me was, and this is why I thought of Ed Kemper and this so-called, it's not really a spoiler because we all know for anyone who knows Robert Berdella, but one of his victims, he's just playing with his head, like he's dancing with the guy's head, with his victim's
Yeah,
head. And I thought of Ed Kemper because watching Chad Farron does what his serial killer films what you did. He doesn't like glamorize the characters. He wanted to bring their real story and see why they're so evil and all that. And in Ed Kemper, there's a scene where Ed Kemper is literally dancing with a torso of a victim without its head or its legs. It's just a torso. And that scene that you did with Ed dancing with the head and just like talking to it reminded me of that scene in Ed Kemper. And I was like, this is gross, but this is insane, insane at the same time. But I gotta say, great job on the though. Whoever did the makeup effects on this, because they did such a good job on it on that one
thank
part.
you. Yeah, we had several teams, but that it's crazy. That mask was actually the second. um No, it was the way they made they had to basically cover the whole face in latex and get the form, and then pour it in, and it was like a whole like situation. But I made sure it was like the um same context, like the same feeling as skin.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
So how long did you take shooting on the film, and what were some of if there were any technical challenges that you faced during production?
So 2 weeks in the winter. It was December 2 weeks, and then January 1 week. We shot all the house scenes in the 2 weeks. The all the crazy stuff with Ed, and all the personal stuff with Oscar in the last week in January. Um, we had a little break in New Year's. We worked with real SWAT teams, which was really awesome. I thought that was going to be very intimidating, but it's crazy. They know what to do. You just yell action. It's very surgical, and they do their thing. And they worked with real explosives. It's like, okay, wow. Whoa.
Whoa, that's a
Yeah.
first. I never heard that. I mean, I know they had active valor where they used real life military officers, but you working with a SWAT team, that's just how did you manage that? How did that happen?
So that's another story. I've heard me and my cinematographer slash producer Istvan were we were actually scouting the swamps for the beginning, portion of the movie, and I hear gunshots, and I'm like, those are gunshots. We should go see where that's coming from. So, yeah. So, anyways, we see the SWAT commander and his comrade basically testing out the guns to make sure they don't jam. And he said, "Would you like to try it?" And I said, "Of course." And uh, yeah, so he was basically making sure they don't jam. Like, because you got to go full automatic and make sure the
Yeah.
gun doesn't jam or it's no issues because it's a SWAT team. They can't have any hiccups. So, I told him like, listen, I'm actually looking for a SWAT team to do this kind of raid. Would you know anyone? And he said, oh yeah, we can do it. And I'm like, okay. And then they actually helped arrange lots of the airboats, this, that. Um, the SWAT team was basically the commander had a connection to the swamp owner, so that's why they were testing the guns out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were actually working all in cahoots with each other, and it worked out. It really worked out.
Wow, that's crazy. Never would imagine a SWAT team actually getting like an actual SWAT team getting involved in a
Yeah.
film.
So in
That's
the film, all the SWAT team you see that's real equipment, real barricade, all real.
oh man. Then like when it came to the to shooting the scene, like did you know how like where to angle, what angles to use that would have worked? Like did you like
Yeah, so right before we shot the film, me and Ishman were basically on boots on location for the whole month of November, shot listing and trying to figure out how to get these river boats. Okay, the drone will be here. We gotta, because I'm very controlling too. So like
yeah.
I need to see like, I need to know the next shot and know the next cut and all that. So um, yeah, we basically got like I think like three drones to help do the boat scenes, and then we had like two cameras on each boat. One basically like static, and then the other one on the boat following the the SWAT team, the main boat.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah, it was a lot of planning, but it worked out surprisingly. Because you always expect hiccups, but I guess the only hiccup was it was like freezing cold, like super cold, but we managed to do it. Hitchcock always says actors are cattle.
That's amazing. I'm like that's mind blowing. Like I'm glad like that's the only hiccup that was it was the weather, but other than that, it felt like it sounded like it was a smooth shoot, and getting to work with a real SWAT team, I mean that's amazing on its own.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the dealing with the um I think also another challenging thing was the headshot that we had of um I won't say who, but that was pretty challenging just because I don't want to say a spoiler. But yeah, that was challenging just because it was a one and go. So
Yeah,
always and when you have those one and go one and dones, it's like, okay, this has to be it. Don't get too nervous.
right. Yeah, I can imagine that. Because like you gotta get the shot right, otherwise it can mess everything. It can just mess up
Yeah,
everything. And
yeah. And there's no time for pickups, no time for this, no time for that. So
yeah, exactly. So what's next for you after this movie? Is there anything that you're working on that you can talk about?
more true crime stuff. I was gonna do I'm still writing a film on the North Hollywood shootout.
Okay.
It's this crazy shootout that happened in like 97. It's basically the reason why police have carry an AR now. Like they have to carry an AR now because these robbers outgunned the police.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's gnarly. But I want to make it more like today based and more like tactical. I'm very into the whole tactical SWAT team, how they catch a criminal and stuff, and very into the FBI profiling too. So that's another story I want to do is something very much like the mine hunter hunting serial killer profiling and then catching them based on the crime scene, based on the type of victim, the MO, the body the way the body's disposed.
Oh man. Yeah, this is See, this is what I like. I'm liking that this is coming back, like it's becoming big now because I feel like this would be awesome. Like, it'll be awesome if you ever get to work with Chad Farron on like with using your tactic of profile to actually get like a because he's as a late he's been doing real life serial killer films.
Cool.
And like you, he's doing like the like he's doing like how evil they are and all that. Like he's done Ed Kemper, he did Dorothea Puente, the Black
Yeah,
Widow.
yeah.
He did he just recently released the Sunset Strip Killers from
Oh
like
yeah, those guys
80s.
were evil.
Yeah, so he just did a movie on that, and I think his next one's on the Night Stalker. His next one's gonna be on Richard Ramirez. He's
Wow.
not glamorizing it. He's giving like he's
The evil
researching
touch.
everything and
Yeah.
slowing it down, really bringing that story to life. So I was like, if you work with him, like if he does a serial killer and you bring that like the police side of like the tactical side of things, holy crap, I would totally watch that. Like no
Yeah.
questions asked.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
So when can people see Hate Thyself? What's the release date?
September 1st, select theaters and in digital platforms. Secret though, you can see the director's cut on Bloodstream.
Yes, Bloodstream. Yes, everyone, you gotta get Bloodstream. If you like indie horror, you gotta get Bloodstream. Yes, I am a full supporter of Bloodstream. They are awesome, and so you definitely gotta check that out. But seriously, guys, you gotta check out Hate Thyself. It is an amazing movie. Great story with a protagonist who's lost faith and seeks redemption. You got a serial killer who does his thing because everything he's going through. These guys are ready to collide. And Shivaan, man, it is great to have talked to you about this. And next project, I gotta talk to you again about it. I am looking forward to your next project. And I would definitely love to talk to you about it again.
Hell yeah, thank you so much.
All right, you take care, and everyone, you stay awesome.
Bye.